Hello, it is Saturday, August 6th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Saturday puzzle, of course, so it may well be the most difficult puzzle of the week. I hope that's not taken to an extreme, because I thought yesterday's puzzle was fairly tricky, the Friday puzzle. So we'll have to see if today's is indeed more challenging. This potentially more challenging edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Casuous Echoes, Gabor, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark. And thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for bringing us this edition of the series and supporting this channel directly. I do very much appreciate it. It helps me continue making this thing. And so I do very much appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level. Those benefactors will get or have gotten the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, and all backers will have access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week, such as yesterday's mini puzzle speed solve, the weekly mini puzzle roundup, and the most recent acrostic that I solved yesterday as well, which I don't think I've posted yet. I need to post that to the Patreon channel. I found it very tricky. If you really want to see me puzzle through something, really work through something and revise what I've put in the grid and make inferences about it, and if you'd like to see that process, then watch my most recent acrostic solve on the Patreon channel, which should be going up soon. Okay, so do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying these videos, and why not recommend it to a friend if you think you know somebody who might enjoy this. And with that, let's solve the Saturday puzzle. This was constructed by Byron Walden, who's an extremely experienced constructor with over 100 New York Times puzzles to his name, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving. Put-ons. There's a question mark, so I assume it's not a put-on as in a sort of a jibe or a sort of a light-natured ruse or something. I assume it's clothing, maybe togs or duds or something like that. Not sure. Blank Graves, Bond villain in Die Another Day. I certainly don't remember that. Yeah, just no clue. Wool source. Llamas would fit in that number of letters. That would probably say wool sources, though. Alpaca? I don't know if that fits with anything here for put-ons. It probably does. What about this? 1997 title role for Peter Fonda. I'm not sure offhand about that either. Sheltie shelterer, in brief. The SPCA, Sheltie, is that a Shetland? Is that a dog breed? Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, I'm wondering. Rocky wears one in his famous training montage. I don't know. I've never seen Rocky. I said, as though I had a sort of an idea, but I think I vaguely remember him wearing in just clips and pictures and things, some kind of, cape is the wrong word, but a sort of a sheet or not, I don't know. Okay. Rocky wears one, I don't know. Ride, to nag at somebody, to ride them. Not reserve. And form of birth control. What do I put in the grid anywhere? I have a bad feeling about this relative to yesterday. Jubilate. To celebrate? I don't think it's going to be celebrate. That feels too similar, but that's not the right number of letters anyway. What about this? San Francisco's War Memorial for one. Well, lived in San Francisco longer than I've lived anywhere else. You'd think I would just know this off the top of my head. Opera House. I see. Yes, okay. Well, there's a very specific thing that I know. So the San Francisco Opera House is the San Francisco War Memorial Opera House, and actually was used to, during the Second World War, was used as a meeting place for the United Nations, which is really interesting. Book that originated the phrase, skin of my teeth. Job, maybe? Book of Job? Jubilate. All right, okay. Program that includes Build Back Better informally. The Biden agenda or something, maybe? No. Build Back Better is the name of one of a Biden administration bill, but Biden plan? No. Not sure. Just that B is making me wonder if that's what's going on there. Especially because it says informally. It's not looking for the kind of official name. Let's see. Can we get anything from Opera House? Nothing makes sense anymore. Dead ringers. Rather. Or else? Maybe? I'm not sure if that's correct. Like. Could be like as in similar to, it is like something, it is similar to something, or it could obviously be like as in to enjoy or be appreciate or what have you. Excited reaction at trivia night. I wonder if this is OO. So, oh, I know the answer. Oh. That sort of thing. For whom the gymnast Nadia Comaneci won gold in 1976. Abbreviation. Was she Romanian? Kind of sounds familiar to me, but jubilate. Wish I could see what that was. Place to get a smoothie. A juice bar? There we go. For your consideration campaign. Oh, an Oscar. Often film studios will run campaigns in which they say, for your consideration, our film for whatever they think it's best place to win, best writing, best picture, best score, whatever. Something, that sort of thing. Okay, so jubilate. Jump for joy. Right, okay, so this isn't or else. Okay, partnership agreement. Yes, I do. Yes, we do. Something like that. Oh, Bidenomics. Okay, it's even more informal than what I was thinking. Okay, this could be some tough. I think these could be some tough answers here. I would think. Heal to cow somebody, but this really looks like it's Oscar. So anyway, so what was that? For your consideration campaign, Oscar nomination, but I don't know that I would call that the campaign. Or nod, same thing. Blank Noel, Père Noël, Father Christmas in French. So there's that. Nickname for Bill Clinton. Bubba, yes. That was one of Bill Clinton's nicknames. And I think, pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. It was a while ago. For your consideration campaign, Oscar bid, an Oscar bid, yes. You're making a bid for a particular award. Okay. Partnership agreement. Yes, dear. Oh, that's clever. So they mean, in this case, they mean an agreement in a domestic partnership inside a household. You might say, yes, dear, to agree with your partner. And a heel is a cad. There we go. A scamp, a cad. Maybe scamp is the wrong word. That has more of a childish implication, but a sort of rogue kind of character. Okay, so yes, dear. Make sound. Repair. If you make something sound, not sound as in an auditory sense, but sound as in solid and in working order, in good order. Okay, stage of metamorphosis, the pupa. So when, certain insects metamorphose into their various stages, starting from pupa, and then they end up, you could end up with a butterfly or something eventually. Okay, bookmakers concern. Betters? I don't know. I mean, a bookmaker, lays odds and then people place bets, or sets the odds, I should say. But I don't know what exactly this is looking for. Blank rhubarb, foil for the Katzenjammer kids of old comics. Do not know that. Old fogey, a dotard, someone who is sort of in their senescence, I guess. They're an aged person, very significantly aged. Okay, so this is bet something. That's unsurprising. Robot rhubarb for the old Katzenjammer kids. I have no idea. It's probably not that. Italian painter Andrea. I don't know. I may recognize it when I see more crosses, but I can't pull it out of thin air right now. Big shot. So it could be you take a big shot, or it could be an important person, a boss, or something like that. Not sure which it is. Okay, let's go back up to the top here. So, if you like something or someone, you fancy it or them, and circumstance in modern slang. Circumstance. So it could mean a circumstance as in a particular situation. It could mean circumstance in the more auspicious sense of coincidence or that kind of thing. Now, what is it? And this looks interesting. UPI. Nothing makes sense anymore. Up in the air. I mean, I don't really see. It doesn't fit anyway, but this is one of those things that's going to seem annoying when I at myself in retrospect. It's going to be annoying in retrospect that I didn't get it. Dead ringers. Dead ringers. Question marks. There's something punny going on here. Natch? I don't know what this is. Circumstance in modern slang. Not reserve. No, I'm not very confident about alpaca or SPCA, so I'm sort of leaving that until we have more crosses. Stumbles for a speaker, ums or ers or something. Enlighten would be to what? To edify, maybe? No, not enough letters. To teach or to make something known to somebody. Commanders became part of it in 2022 for short. Commanders became part of it in 2022 for short. What on earth? Commanders. Oh, sorry. It just occurred to me that form of birth control might be vasectomy. Sorry, I was kind of vaguely thinking about this, but my mind was wandering, and that is a form of male birth control. So let's see. Dead ringers. Oh, mediums. People who communicate with the dead, who ostensibly communicate with people in the sort of spirit realm or whatever they call it, and often they will say ring a bell or something like that. Okay, so not reserve. That doesn't really help me, I don't think. Nothing makes sense anymore. Oh, I just do not see what this is. It's so strange that starting with up, again, I'm sure it'll make complete sense when I see it eventually. Amazon area. So this could be the Amazon River, but my guess is that it's referring to Amazon, the company, and its e-tail, in other words, the area of business in which Amazon operates. And this is one of those annoying e-words. We have gone months with very few e-words in the crossword, which I really appreciate. E-tail is one of the ones I find objectionable because I've never heard anyone say it. I never see people refer to e-tail to mean electronic retail or whatever it is that it means, which I think is that. But I do think that's probably the answer. Stumbles for a speaker. I assume this is that kind of thing, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Gaps? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not reserve. So it could mean not reserve as in not book, as in not book a table or something, or not reserve as in not hold back, not keep. Not reserve. Active duty. Right. So I was going through my possibilities of what it could mean, and I think I hadn't. So the previous time I looked at this, I was thinking of the two senses I said, but this time it also occurred to me it could mean not in reserve, in a military, sort of military reserve, not in reserve, but rather on active duty. And anyway, Blank Graves, Bond Villain, and Die Another Day. Well, this is an interesting collection of characters. Wonder if it's a Russian character or something. Graves, I wouldn't have thought. Does some further editing on, recuts. You could cut a film, edit it, or recut it, re-edit it. And Rocky wears one in his famous training montage. Okay, what is this? Cooks from the box. This is, all these V's are very surprising to me. Surely this is correct. It's specific and kind of unusual of a word just in terms of it's such a specific concept. I can't imagine it's wrong. Rather pretty. Okay, fair enough. This clue for some reason was rather tricky for me. It was pretty tricky for me. And circumstance. Oh, a situation. I think I may have even said situation. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. Up. Oh, up is down. Nothing makes sense anymore. Up is down. Right. Okay, there we go. Stumbles for his speakers. I'm still not seeing it for some reason. Don't know why. Enlighten. Clue in, maybe? You clue somebody in? Oops. You enlighten them? Enlighten me. Clue me in, you might say. Cooks from the box. Oh, TV. I'm wondering if this has something to do with TV dinners, which come in a cardboard box. TV chefs? Oh, no, it's not. It's not even that at all. That's funny. It's a totally different, it's a completely unrelated concept that also involves TV. That's strange. It's fortunate for me that I put that in there. So anyway, they mean TV chefs, celebrity chefs on television, or I guess they don't need to be celebrities, but people who cook on television, and the box, I guess, meaning TV. Okay, ride. Well, it could be mount, but alpaca is looking increasingly correct. So ride, taunt. You taunt somebody, you ride them, you kind of get on their case, jeer at them, maybe. So Rocky wears one. Maybe this isn't an S. Oh, garb, maybe. Clothing, without an S. Oh, maybe he wears a beanie. Rocky wears a beanie in his famous training montage. Sure, that might be true. 1997 title role for Peter Fonda and, oh, Gustav. This must be, oh, Uli. This is, oh, what is that? Is it the sequel to City Slickers? I don't think I've seen either of those films, but I think that might be what this is. The Legend of Uli's Gold, I think it's called. So that must have been the character played by Peter Fonda, which I don't think I even knew. But anyway, let's keep going. Commanders became part of it, and oh, this looks like the NFL. So there must be a team called the Commanders that became part of the NFL in 2022. And many a 900 number. So in the United States, 900 numbers are, I think they're sort of paid. You pay per minute maybe, or there's some other means, but they're charged in some fashion, I think. So I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Anyway, let's keep looking around. Some defensive football players are, I don't know. The Sickness Blank Death, Kierkegaard book. The Sickness Unto Death? A whole bunch. Rafts, maybe? I mean, this is one of those words that has quite a few synonyms, really. Oh, some defensive football players. Left backs or something? I don't know. I'm just making up a football player term, I think, in terms of gridiron football, American football. Marched en masse. Trooped. Oops. Is that a possible synonym there? Number before nove. Ocho, 8. This doesn't look good. Many a 900 number. Still the same blank me, George Jones album. It sure looks like still the same old me, doesn't it? Left, oh, is this maybe Italian? Left, oh, chat line? Right, maybe that's such a funny coincidence that it looks like it starts with something that could also start charged. So chat, I guess you call a chat line and then it's paid for whatever reason. So is that like party lines, that kind of thing? That sort of thing you used to hear people talk about. Anyway, so some arcade habitués. So this could mean a video game arcade, people who frequent video game arcades, or I mean, arcade is such a general architectural term. You know, you could have an arcade full of shops of really any kind. So if it's not a video game arcade, which I think is one of the more common modern usages of it, then I'm not quite sure what it is. Let's keep looking around. University stores. University stores could mean stores in the sense of caches. So deposit. I don't know. They have a stockpile or something. I'm not sure what that would be. Or the more obvious meaning stores is in shops, bookstores, textbook stores, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure. Someone who can't stand working, question mark. Someone who can't stand working. I assume that the question mark pun here means that the stand, it means it's probably referring to somebody who literally cannot stand while doing their job. Now, who would that be? I'm going to look elsewhere. Okay. Bookmaker's concern. Betting, betters, bet odds. That doesn't sound very plausible, but what have we not seen yet? That's what I'm looking for. Supporting strips in construction. Some sort of beams, but it's not going to be one of the letter beams. It's not long enough. Not sure. Worker who processes wool. Oh, perhaps wool from an alpaca. A spinner, a dyer, a weaver. That's not really processing wool, I wouldn't say. 1984 number 3 hit with the lyric, "Ain't no law against it yet." I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a song I've heard, but I just don't know the lyrics. I'm not sure. State bordering Arizona and New Mexico. Nevada? I hope that's right. Restroom sign. Boy, I don't know. I hope Nevada's actually correct. Drip could be drip as in water is dripping. This sort of is fairly obvious, but it could be drip as in someone who's kind of a bore, I guess. Someone who's not very interesting. They're kind of they're a drip. They're like most depositions, oral. Maybe Nevada is wrong after all that. Like most depositions, you give a deposition in court orally, perhaps. And all right, saw that. What about this? Radicals. Radicals. Group with the 1961 hit Ramalama Ding Dong with "The." I can remember the song, but I don't know the name of the group behind it. But if it has "the," it's probably plural, so it probably ends with an S. And not for me. We could simply say pass, I suppose. Not for me. Pass. Yeah, that works fine with radicals. So radicals are ultras, maybe. Sometimes see that used to describe people of a certain disposition. Extreme people, they're ultras for this particular cause or what have you. Okay, now drip. Maybe it is a bore. Does that work here? 1984 law with the lyric, "Ain't no law against it yet." What is this? State bordering Arizona and New Mexico. I wonder if it's not an American state, because Mexico would border Arizona and New Mexico. Sonora is a Mexican state. I bet that's the answer. Drip. Oh, it is a bore. Okay, great. Okay. Restroom sign, gents. There we go. Sometimes you see gents for men's bathroom. 1984 number 3 hit with the lyric, "Ain't no law against it yet." The Bop or something. I guess that must be it. And I'm sure I'll recognize this when I see it, the group, but I'm not sure offhand. It's bound to run in the third quarter. It's bound to run. Sun or something? Up. tables. Could end in the S and an S. So does that group with the 1961 hit Ramalama Ding Dong with the so the SLs? I don't know. I mean, that's this at this point. I feel like it could be anything, and I wouldn't know. Oh, this does look like betting, doesn't it? Okay, with that G there. That's a little bit helpful. So tables. Could this possibly be something else? She-bop, maybe? Just that NH. Oh, but it would be the same thing if it were. Is there anything else that could be? I mean, I guess it must be. That H just looks strange to me. Let's keep looking around. Crimean Peninsula Resort in World War II history. Resort. Not sure what that's getting at. Sorry, I'm sure that's something I should know. Have we looked at all the downs yet? I don't remember if we have. No, Blank Door, Palme d'Or. Was that a prize at Cannes, the French Film Festival? Is that what that? I think that's what the Palme d'Or is. I think there are 3 major prizes maybe at Cannes, and that's one of them. Tables. Crimean Peninsula Resort. Some arcade habitués. Oh, pinball something. Pinballers? Is that a phrase? Pinballers? People who play pinball? I guess it must be. ID since 1935. Social Security number. That would make sense. That would be the era when all the kind of welfare state essentially was being created in the United States, and President Roosevelt would have, I guess, introduced the Social Security number. That makes sense. I wouldn't have known the year, but it seems completely reasonable. University stores. Why don't I see what this is? Someone who can't stand working. Derek Blank, former president of Harvard. Wow, that is a bit of specific knowledge. Who on earth would know that? I mean, no, maybe this person is actually very famous, but it just seems very specific. I guess so is the War Memorial Opera House in San Francisco. So, okay, this looks strange. Some defensive football players left. Yeah, something's wrong here. Maybe the same ol with an E. Maybe it's. Oh, yeah, maybe it is. So the same ol me, and then left ends. Maybe that sounds like a plausible sports position. University stores. Or why don't I see it? Someone who can't stand working. Oh, a desk something. And Derek Bach or back, maybe. I just don't know. Someone who can't stand working. Desk person? Is that? I'm a desk person? Is that something people say? Harsh cry. A yawp, maybe? Oh, Yalta. Oh, right. Yes, okay. And it's in history because of the treaty signed there. Okay, so that I'm more confident about that now. So worker who processes wool, a baller maybe? They create balls of wool, is that something? It's bound to run in the third quarter. If this were B, what about this? Supporting strips in construction. This looks like an R to me. University stores. Oh, endowments. Right. Okay. It was the first of the 2 possibilities I said, not the more obvious one. It was the one in terms of a stockpile or cash. In this case, cache of cash, using 2 different spellings of the word cash, I suppose. 2 different words that are homophones of one another. So university endowments is their kind of, it's their kind of stockpile of money, I suppose, that they invest and use to then invest in themselves, I suppose, as well. And so you have, wealthy universities with large endowments, that kind of thing people talk about. Okay, so worker who processes wool, maybe it is a baller. And supporting strips in construction. Italian painter Andrea. I'm irritated that I'm not seeing this. I think it probably has an E here. Big shot. I guess it could be an I. I don't know. Okay, tables. Boy, I've really hit a wall, haven't I? Because now I've seen all of the answers. I'm sorry, I've seen, oh, if only. No, now I've seen all of the clues, is what I should say. Italian painter Andrea. Big shot. Tables. What else could tables mean? It could mean in the U.S. sense, and this is very different to, it's kind of the opposite of the UK sense of tables. But in the U.S., if you table something, you sort of put it on hold for future discussion. Whereas generally here in the UK, if you'd say, "I'm going to table this topic," it means we're talking about it now. We're immediately discussing it. So. Actually, having said that, put on hold, or rather puts because it's tables, puts on hold would actually fit here. Oh, Sonora with an O. Sorry. Okay, I think I just misremembered how to spell that Mexican state. So this does, okay, so this looks like the bop. The Edsels? I wonder if that's named after there's a sort of famous flop of a car that Ford launched, the Ford Edsel, which I think was named after the son of Henry Ford. And it was, legendarily poor selling. And I wonder if they're named after that for some reason, or if that's just a coincidence. Anyway, so puts on hold table. So, yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh, I can't believe I can't think of any of these. Battens, maybe? Supporting strips in construction. Big shot. A bolt? Like in a crossbow? A big crossbow bolt? Something like that? Rolo rhubarb? I don't know. It's bound to run in the third quarter. I just don't have any. This T is still very strange looking. Itsu. Kind of looks like it could be issue. Oh, it could be. It's bow. Oh, wow. Okay. If this is right, then this almost needs a question mark. It's bound to run in the third quarter. If you could imagine binding an issue of a magazine and publishing it in fall, the third quarter, you could say fall, the fall season is the third quarter of the year. That must be what that is. That is really on the line in terms of wanting a question mark to make it a kind of a punny answer, if that's the answer. And then worker who processes wool, a fuller. So I wonder if fuller is one of those, this must be one of those craft sort of trades that has become a surname because people who practiced this craft, adopted it as what became modern concept of surnames. And you get, it's just the kind of name you see in the UK all the time on, pubs and things like that. So kind of, I sort of suspect it's one of those things. So this must be part of the steps of processing wool. Okay, Del Sarto. Dalsarta? I don't, It's not ringing a bell, which is very annoying. This sort of looks like Rolo. I mean, Rolo rhubarb. I've never heard of it, of the character, but I just can't imagine it isn't that. And so a big shot is a belt or a bolt. Bolt looks much like, if this is Italian, del looks much more likely than dole to me. So a big shot, a belt. You could take a belt of, I don't know, whiskey or something. Or I guess you could belt somebody. You could take a big shot at them. I think those are both fairly plausible. And that was it. Okay, that was very difficult. I can't decide if I found that more difficult than yesterday. I suppose I probably did. I think it was more difficult throughout, maybe. Yeah, very, very tough. Some tough. I'm fortunate to have known San Francisco's War Memorial Opera House. That was lucky. What else was particularly difficult? I mean, I think vasectomy is a tough word to just sort of pull out of thin air. I certainly didn't know the NFL with the Commanders, but these unusual letters next to one another made that fairly easy. Knowing Bill Clinton's nickname Bubba would be surprising, I think, to somebody who didn't reside in the United States during the presidency of Bill Clinton, I have to say. What else? I mean, there were quite a few tough things in here. Oh, this. Gustave Graves, Bond Villain, and Die Another Day. I mean, I know I've seen Die Another Day, but I don't have the slightest memory of this. And then that crossing with another film character, actually, Gustave and Uli, that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough. And then also Gustave crosses with another proper noun, the initialism for the Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So yeah, quite a lot of challenging crosses in this puzzle, I would say. Oh, and the Edsels, the group with the Ramalama Ding Dong. Yeah, that's tough. All right, well, there we go. Oh, and the Bob the she Bob after all. So I was right to be skeptical of the. Anyway, tough crossword. Definitely qualifies as a Saturday, I would say. And it sort of explains why yesterday I found so difficult, because it wasn't one of those cases where the difficulty was flipped around and Saturday ended up being easy and Friday ended up being difficult. No, I would say they were still proportionally, relative to one another, at least what you'd expect for those days. Anyway, let's finish off the video with a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. What do we have here? Life as Boss was the first person I saw to point this out, but several people did, who said, typically speaking, in the US at least, others feel free to correct me if it's different for you, but we refer to computer science by the term comp sci instead of comparative sciences, which is what I said. I think I saw comp blank and I thought, oh, comp lit, comparative literature, comparative religion, comparative sciences. And I mean, there is, you can refer to comparative sciences, but I don't think that's in itself a field of study. You'd have to get a little bit more specific than that. And Life as Boss is certainly correct. Comp sci would be referring to computer sciences. So thank you. Computer science. Life as Boss also pointed out RNA polymerase, which came up in yesterday's puzzle, is an enzyme that basically starts the, quote, reading of DNA to create a strand of RNA. That is very interesting. Thank you for that. And Dragon Traces explains balayage, the hair coloring technique that came up in yesterday's puzzle, with which I was unfamiliar. French for sweeping. That's interesting. And Dragon Traces says it is essentially painting chemical lightener onto the hair. It is similar to highlighting, but the technique is very different. Balayage tends to be applied on the lower length, where highlights are very much done more toward the scalp. When well done, balayage can look very much like natural sun-lightened hair. I think I can picture what that is. I think I know what the result of that looks like, and I did not know the name of the technique used to achieve it, so thank you. And finally, Bradley says, the ASAP Mob is a hip-hop collective from New York for the last 15 years or so. ASAP Rocky and ASAP Ferg are probably the two most well-known members. I think the reason the clue rang a bell for you is you might have been half remembering the 1990s New York hip-hop duo Mobb Deep. I think you're right. Or possibly the Atlanta-based hip-hop group Goody Mob. I think Mobb Deep is more likely what I was thinking of, so thank you for that, Bradley. Anyway, that's that for today's puzzle. That's that for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle should certainly be less of a challenge than this one in terms of pure difficulty, but it has its own challenge, which is the stamina necessary to complete that particularly large grid. So look forward to that. Join me for the Sunday puzzle tomorrow, but until then, do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.